Colorado Mountain College is going to Ecuador, summer 2019, for a Spanish immersion and environmental science experience. My name is Carol Koch, professor of Spanish at the Edwards campus of Colorado Mountain College, and I'd just like to take a few minutes to tell you about this opportunity. First of all, why study abroad? I'm going to offer you a few observations from students that have gone on previous trips. These three comments are from a trip to Costa Rica that we took in 2016. Kara Miller said, "The trip itself was an amazing experience both linguistically and culturally. I loved having the freedom to travel on the weekends." Sue Kuntz was also on this trip, and she had this to say, "I was thrilled with the experience. It was educational far beyond the classroom and further increased my appreciation of other cultures." Josh Rumble said, "The Spanish immersion trip changed my life. I gained an immeasurable amount of confidence in using the Spanish language and a whole new outlook on life." Colorado Mountain College went to Ecuador this past summer, so I'm just going to offer you a few of the comments from that trip. "I must admit that it can be uncomfortable at times living in another country that is not your own, but it is truly the only way to experience how others learn, think, and live." And that was from Josh, a different Josh, in Ecuador. Also a different Kira in Ecuador. "My host family welcomed me into their home with open arms. It was great to be able to practice my Spanish every day with them." And finally, Casey, who was on the Ecuador trip this past summer, "Studying abroad in Ecuador through Colorado Mountain College was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. I was challenged every day. What stands out to me is how much more comfortable I am engaging in conversations with Spanish speakers now than I was before." So part of our trip, we will be in Quito. Quito has a population of about 2 million people. It has an altitude of 9,350 feet. It's the second highest capital in South America. So we are right in the middle of the Andes in Quito. Quito is divided into various parts, and El Centro Histórico is one of those parts. El Centro Histórico was named a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. It has the colonial architecture that you would expect to find in capital cities and large cities in Mexico, Central America, and South America. It's truly a beautiful, beautiful part of the city. We will be living in the north central part of Quito, and the heart of this part of Quito is El Parque Carolina, which offers a lot of different opportunities. It's a huge green space in the middle of a modern and urban part of the city. You can play soccer, there's basketball courts, volleyball courts, there's a running track, paths of wind through the green spaces of the park, there's a botanical garden, and it's just a wonderful gathering place that really comes to life on the weekends. Ecuadorian families just congregate there and just to experience each other and just to enjoy the day. Andean Global Studies is our partner. We will be having our intensive classes with Andean Global Studies at their school in Quito. Small class sizes is what you can expect, so you can really maximize your learning and Spanish language acquisition. Andean Global Studies also offers us weekly cooking classes and weekly Latin dance classes. So we are doing an environmental science based trip. So we were doing Spanish immersion, but we're also going to explore the environment of Ecuador. So one of our excursions is right in Quito. Volcan Pichincha is a volcano of nearly La Cumbre, the top is 15,400 feet. So we're getting pretty high in altitude. It's beautiful. And we can experience a different type of hiking, volcano hiking. Quito sits in a part of Costa Rica or Ecuador that's known as La Avenida de los Volcanes. And all through from the north to south, there's just a line of volcanoes. Many of them are snow-capped all year long. So a few of those volcanoes that are along the Avenida de los Volcanes is Cotopaxi, which we will be visiting and climbing to the glacier. Cayambe, Chimborazo is the highest volcano in Ecuador, y Sanguay. As I just mentioned, we will be hiking to the glacier of Cotopaxi. This will be part of our environmental science experience, and it's a wonderful hike, and we get up to the glacier. And when we're up at the glacier, we're at about 16,000 feet in elevation. We also need to immerse ourselves linguistically, but immersing ourselves in the culture is an imperative part of the experience as well. So we'll be doing some trips, and one of those is to the Mercado Indígena de Otavalo. This is the largest indigenous market in South America. It is a market where indigenous people have their handicrafts for sale, but it is also a market that the people of Otavalo use to buy their things for their homes, to buy their food. It's also a gathering place. So it's a very vibrant experience. It's not just about the indigenous products, but it's just where all of Otavalo comes together on Saturdays. We'll also be visiting El Mitad del Mundo. Ecuador is on the equator, so Mitad del Mundo is right on the equator line, and there's a lot of myths surrounding being on the equator and how it can affect your balance and how you can put an egg on its end and water going in the opposite direction. So we're kind of exploring those myths about being exactly on the equator in the center of the world. So we will also be spending an entire week in the Amazon in an ecolodge, Ecolodge Gaia. We will be continuing with our Spanish immersion classes, our Spanish intensive classes, while we explore the rainforest. On the upper right hand side, you can see our transportation. We traveled to most of the sites that we're going to visit by boat along the river. In the center, you can see the social area of the ecolodge. This is where we gather for classes, just to hang out, where we have our meals, and then we have cabins apart from there where we sleep. The ecolodge is right on El Rio Napo. El Rio Napo is home to 3 types of monkeys, and we did manage to see all 3 types. And on the bottom left is an example of the largest monkey in this part of the Amazon. It's called a woolly monkey. We also did some hiking in the jungle. We were able to see all kinds of things in the wild, like the cacao pod that you see on the left side of the slide. And we also were able to take that cacao, the seeds from the cacao, through the whole process from drying them out and to making them into chocolate, which was really a neat experience. We will also be visiting the Pacific coast and enjoying the biodiversity that is along the Pacific coast of Ecuador. Ecuador is known for its biodiversity throughout, and we will be in Puerto Lopez on the Pacific coast at the time of year when the whales are there during their migration. So we will be able to do some whale watching, which is pretty exciting. So just to sort of summarize, Spanish Immersion in Environmental Science, Ecuador 2019. We will be in 3 locations. Quito and the Sierra of the Andes will be near Ahuano in the Amazon rainforest, and Puerto Lopez on the Pacific coast. So the program includes intensive Spanish classes in both Quito and the Amazon. It includes a homestay with an Ecuadorian family in Quito, and that homestay includes 2 meals a day with your Ecuadorian family. We will be staying at the Eco Lodge for a week, and included with our lodging is 3 meals a day at the Eco Lodge. We will also be doing other excursions, hiking in Cotopaxi Volcano, hiking along a crater lake and Quilotoa Volcano, Pichincha, the volcano that we saw that's really close to, or it's in Quito. We will be going to an area called Baños, where there are a lot of hiking to waterfalls and just a beautiful area in the Andes. And they also offer some extreme sports like zip lining and things like that that you can also participate in. We will be visiting a hot springs, Papayacta. We will be doing whale watching in Puerto Lopez and exploring the biodiversity of the Ecuadorian coast. And we will be doing cultural trips like to Otavalo, which is the indigenous market. The dates for the trip are June 22nd through July 14th, so we will be in Ecuador for 3 weeks. The deadline to apply and to make a deposit is April 1st, 2019, but I do have to tell you that I have already gotten several applications, so just to secure your spot, I would encourage you to get your application in before that April 1st deadline. If you have any questions, concerns, you need some more information, you want to know about financial aid, just please send me an email, give me a call. You can also contact Tim at that email address and at that phone number. So I really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you in Ecuador.